All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
You know, folks, today's show is going to be a little bit personal. And I just put that out there in advance in fairness to you because the show is about politics, issues, analysis, geopolitics. You know, we throw in some Make America Healthy Again stuff. We throw in some humor. Like I say, edutainment, hat tip BDP, right? Some of you will get that. Educational entertainment. But the show should not be about me. And I'm going to tell you why. Because who really cares? There is nobody that interesting that for, I don't know, the 10 hours a week of content or so we produce through social and everywhere else that wants to hear about, like, well, I had steak for dinner. Who cares? But in the beginning of today's show, it's ironic because today's show is titled Charlie. I want to show you some stuff. And I vetted this with the TPUSA team because you know my policy on putting out people's texts or anything. I don't like to do that, good or bad. They communicated with you. However, in regards to the bad scenario, if you're going to go out there and say you have a text implicating me in a federal crime, like obstruction of justice, then I'm going to put you on the spot. And you saw what happened. That obviously worked out quite well in our favor as people flail and look around and claw at their faces. But there's something really, really incredible I've been holding on to, and I really think you should see it. And it involves Charlie. Because there are times out there when it's really important that we ground ourselves. And the world is very chaotic right now. It's not unprecedented. Chaos has happened throughout the course of human history. We're in a great time to be alive. Thank you, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But with everything going on right now, people focus on the conspiracy traders. They're focused on Tyler Robinson, he's entitled to his day in court. Everyone is legally innocent until proven guilty. But I feel like a little bit, the memory of Charlie kind of got lost in the mix. A little bit. And I want to show you something today because I think it's important to remember what this whole thing is about and never forget it. So stay tuned. I got a big show for you today. We're going to hit on also common sense. Common sense. Why would you do? No. Stay tuned. You'll see what I mean. Some of you you know where I'm going. Thomas Paine, 1776. Common sense. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Hey, it feels like our country finally has some momentum again. So many of us are fighting to restore common sense and America first. I didn't even know that was in there. Patriot Mobile. There's a good one. This is a new one. Common sense. Perfect. See, we think alike. That's why I love this company. I use them. It's great cell phone service. It's amazing. I did not plan that, I promise. We've seen this before. Conservatives get comfortable. The left starts taking back their socialist agenda inch by inch. They're never going to go away, folks. Do not let that happen. America needs every one of us in the fight. A big part of that means supporting companies that stand for our values. I've been with this company a while. I really, really like them. Patriot Mobile. If you're using cell phone service, it's not just that they're patriots and love the country. It's that their service is excellent, too. They saved me many times. I told you the story being at a volleyball tournament. Thank God I had Patriot Mobile. I couldn't get a signal outside of them. Patriot Mobile gives you premium priority nationwide service on any of the 3 major U.S. networks, so you get the coverage you need, plus unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, and a 100% U.S.-based customer support team. Switching's really easy. Paula did it for both of our phones in under 5 minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, activate in just minutes. Patriot Mobile's more than just a great wireless service. They're real patriots over there. We actually know the people who run the company. They're amazing. They've supported conservatives for a long time. They love being behind faith, family, and freedom, and they're not shy about it. They love the future of the country. They donate millions every year to organizations fighting for our freedoms, all of us. Go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Use promo code Dan for a free month of service. It's a great deal. Switch today. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Make that switch today. It's a great company. They love our country. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. So like I said, today's show is going to be a little personal. If that's not for you, that's okay. This show for me is more about you enjoying yourself and wanting to be here. Some of you may say I'm tapping out, but that's all right. We really need to ground ourselves again. There are times when it becomes important to get out there and touch grass a little bit and remember our role in this amazing God's gift, the universe that he's given to us. This is one of those times. With everything going on with Charlie, and we're going to let that process play out. As I said, there is a process in that country, and every U.S. citizen, no matter how morally inept or is entitled to a process, we're going to let that play out. But that doesn't take away from reflecting on what we lost as a movement. Charlie Kirk was a man with his flaws like anyone else, and no one who knew him will tell you any different. But I always tell you, I'm a transactional guy, and if Charlie Kirk was a spreadsheet, Charlie's positives were net present value 20 million. There is almost no one Charlie interacted with that he did not make their lives better. I want to show you a little bit of a tribute Andrew and the Turning Point team put out about Charlie yesterday. You can go, I actually reposted it on X and watch the whole thing. This is a little bit over like a minute and a half of it though. But I just want you to remember with all this going on that we lost someone who was special. And sometimes we need to go back and celebrate what he stood for, because I believe it'll motivate another generation of young patriots out there to take what Charlie gave us and run with it. Listen, I don't know why God does what he does. I'm not smart enough, neither are any of you. No one has an IQ smart enough to understand why the Creator chose this path. But maybe in Charlie's death, there'll be 1,000 or 10,000 new Charlies coming up. And I'll show you what I mean with a text in a minute. First, I just want you to watch this. You need to see this. This is what we lost. Love you, Charlie. Check this out.
13 years ago, I was in a car driving to Rockford, Illinois, and this journey started. It was June 5th, 2012. No money, no connections, and no idea what I was doing. Started to barnstorm Illinois and in the Midwest, speaking at every possible Tea Party rally I could. That was the garage that we literally started in Lamont, Illinois. I had burning desire. Looking back at it, I wanted to grow this thing more than anything imaginable. I poured every part of my being into this.
He was 18, no money, no map, only a call from God.
My political journey was in the midst of the Obama craze in Chicago. As someone who is generally conservative, I realized this generation, millennials, is going to be the most progressive generation in history if we don't do something about this.
Only in America can a young man with a dream change the world.
So I go to college campuses and there's a lot of error. We're all sinners. We all live in error. We as Christians are called to go into the public arena to correct error with truth. I'm far more interested in what God wants of me than what I want from God. But sometimes the difficult road is the way that you should configure your life. For every single one of you, there are a couple thousand students that wish they could speak out like you do. And courage is a choice. It takes no skill to be courageous. You might come up to the microphone and say, Charlie, I don't know my talent. I don't know my skill. The cool thing about being courageous is you just have to say, I choose to be courageous. You are doing something that is bigger than you.
If everything completely goes away, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
I see you guys in the chat. I'm not crying, you're crying. Someone put, who's cutting onions over here? You know, with all this chaos going on, God does things for a reason only God understands. He's omnipotent, omniscient. We're just not capable of understanding why the divine creator chose this path. We're not. But I said to you yesterday, I remember vividly Charlie's memorial service. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe there's a spirit realm that God has chosen, the second creation, where whatever substance we're made of that gives us a soul, that enables us to say, I think, therefore I am. It goes on after this material body decays. If there's a spirit realm that's made its way onto this rock we call Earth in Arizona, it was there at Charlie's service. When, what's her name? Carrie Job, she's a faith-based singer. When they were singing that song, I'm telling you, I've never experienced anything. I looked at someone from the FBI who was with me that day, and she looked back at me, and we both thought the same thing. Like, if there's a spirit realm, we're in it right now on Earth. And I was having a brief conversation afterwards with the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. And we both said the same thing, that he's just not replaceable. But like that movie Moneyball, where you can't replace a great baseball player because you maybe don't have the assets to do it, maybe you can replace them in composite. So we're never going to have another Charlie. But maybe we can have the effect Charlie had with 1,000 Charlies or 10,000 Charlies. So I don't like publishing texts, good or bad. However, I've been so distraught about the focus getting off Charlie. You go on X and it's all about other people. And I'm not bringing that up. It's not worth it. I just want everyone to remember that this guy was special and may have inspired 10,000 or 100,000 more Charlie Kirks. So I called up the team and I said, would you guys mind if I put these texts out there? Because I think it's important you understand who Charlie really was. And they said, yeah, go ahead. We'd actually like that. This first is a text from my nephew, Uncle Danny. Focus. You just said focus. Uncle Danny, I love Charlie Kirk. All right. Do you think one day you can get me to meet him? This may be one of our 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 little Charlie Kirks. It's my nephew. Amazing kid. So I sent it to Charlie. Here's the text. That's a screenshot. I said, hey, man, this is from my 12-year-old nephew. Responds, that's amazing. Happy to meet him anytime. Exclamation point, exclamation point. That's just who Charlie was. That's just who Charlie was. He doesn't know my nephew at all. It didn't matter. That's just who Charlie was. I want to show you one more, but before you guys put it up, I want to give you just some backstory on this next text because it seems a little confusing. It's a screenshot of a text from Charlie to Paula that Charlie had sent me, my wife. Charlie sends me this screenshot. Why is he sending me a screenshot of him texting Paula? Short version of it is, we had decided the last minute during Donald Trump's last inauguration, at the last minute, to go up and do the show from the Rumble studio. So we didn't tell anyone we were going to be in D.C. Some of you remember that. Then we were like, you know what? We should be there. It's history. I don't know. It was like a day or two before. That's why we did the show from the Rumble studio. There was no way to fix it in time. So again, short version of this. We're coming home that night. It was a really long day. It was cold, those of you who remember it. But it was such a wonderful day. Like, we had finally gotten some measure of justice after everything they'd done to the president, to our movement. He was back in office, sworn in. And we're walking by the Turning Point inaugural ball. And my wife says to me, Paula, she goes, gosh, I really wish we would have gotten an invite. I said, well, I told Charlie we weren't coming up because it was such an amazing experience. So I called Charlie, I don't know, a couple of days later. We used to talk about a lot of different things, not to oversell, but we talked a lot about radio, podcasting, candidates, everything. And I said, man, Paula's like a little upset we didn't go to the inaugural ball. Folks, it was not a thing. I promise. I was just like, honestly, I was just making a little bit of small talk with him at the end to celebrate how good the inaugural ball was for him. It was like the event to go to. He's like, I can't believe we didn't invite you. I go, Charlie, I told you we weren't going up there. I promise it's not a thing. He could not get this out of his head. Charlie was so upset that he thought my wife was excluded from for some reason. We didn't think that. I said, Charlie, just let it go. It's not a thing, I promise. I almost regretted bringing it up. I don't know, maybe like an hour goes by, Charlie sends me this. This is a screenshot of the text. This is an actual text to Paula. Hey, Paula, it's Charlie Kirk. Who's this guy? I want to apologize to you and Dan regarding our inaugural ball. Totally, completely unnecessary. It was my fault, not his. I didn't even know you guys were in town, and I wrongly assumed you were staying at home. He didn't wrongly. I told him I was staying at home. You've done so much for me in Turning Point. I feel terrible for this oversight. Please accept my apology. We have nothing but immense respect for you and Dan. If there's anything I can do to make this right, please let me know. I'm sorry, I think it was Paula who sent me this, and he said, that's who Charlie was. It was my fault. I was just making small talk. But Charlie was so concerned about making everybody in a room, including Paula, my wife, even if it was my mistake, feeling like they were part of his inner circle, that he couldn't let it go by. Folks, I've never shown that before, and I'm really always hesitant to do it. But I think it's important, again, with everything going on, that we ground ourselves, that we go outside. I'm not talking about, touching earth and electron transfer. I'm talking about going out and touching grass, because that's the gift God gave us, this rock called earth. And when you sit there touching grass, sometimes at night, and you start to see the stars creep out, and you realize the majesty of the universe and that God gave it all to us, and we're a piece of it. All of us are a critical, important piece. God made sure every single one of you were born for some reason you may not understand. Charlie was born for a reason. It was a huge reason. And Charlie was taken from us for a reason we don't understand either. But I don't ever want you to forget that he was still a man like everyone else, with feelings, but he was a special guy. I know a lot of people in this business, a lot. Some of them are very close friends. It's a small circle of people who run in this business. There's a lot of really bad people. You're starting to see that now. We don't want to focus on that today. There's a lot of really bad actors. But there are a lot of really good people too. I'm going to tell you, man, Charlie Kirk was the best of us. He was immensely gifted. And what he was doing was not a shtick. It was not some act. He didn't care about cable news appearances or anything. He would take them if it advanced the cause. Charlie cared about truth. Charlie cared about this American project. Charlie cared about liberty and freedom. And most importantly, Charlie cared about taking that message and evangelizing crowds about it. Charlie put himself in real danger. Folks, I don't want to focus on anything down or macabre today at all. But Charlie knew he was in a lot of danger. A lot of us do. Charlie still took a lot of risks because it mattered to him. It was a tough segment to get through. But I really think it's important you remember he was a man. He was a man that was taken from us, and the focus should always stay on him. We were lucky he was on our side. Lady Tomasi in the chat. Yeah, we were. We were lucky, even for the short time we had him. Him, Rush Limbaugh. No one's going to have a footprint in modern times like they did. Folks, as we patriots out there fight on to rescue our movement from the liars, the frauds, the traitors, the doom and gloom crowd, the anti-American crowd, the progressives, the liberals, the communists, people who want to destroy us. I want to encourage you going forward to just maintain the fight. I know a lot of you get frustrated and you say, especially with Charlie's trial going on right now, you're like, how does this insanity persist? How does it persist? I'm going to take a quick break here. I think I need it. However, when I come back on the other side, I'm going to show you a post by James Lindsay, who does a very good Twitter account, X account. I still can't stop calling it Twitter. It's a very long post. I'm just going to show you a small portion of it. The small portion of this very long post, and I encourage you to look it up, explains very succinctly and perfectly why there are some people who just can't let go of a life of lies. They can't. I want you to forget them for a day and remember, this is about justice for Charlie. I need a quick break. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. He was a special guy. And there are tons. I got 1,000 of those, but we'll leave that for now. Text from Charlie about congratulating us for things. Just an amazing guy. Folks, you know I'm not a big gambler, but I've been taking a look and having a lot of fun at marketplace predictions from everything from politics to sports. Kalshi's where I get the best insights on predictions. I've been going there checking out World Cup coverage. From sports to politics to finance or any variety of markets people are monitoring, Kalshi, Kalshi, Kalshi.com is a bookmark you need. I featured them in my last election special. They were spot on. Our president was elected as predicted. Kalshi.com is one of the only places where you can trade on real-world events in all 50 states. Click the link in the description and get a free $10 credit when you trade $100. It's not just politics or economics. They've got markets on everything, from sports to pop culture to climate predictions. Kalshi has a pulse on what the world thinks will happen. It's a fascinating website. Click the link in the description and get a free $10 credit when you trade $100. It's Kalshi.com/Bongino, Kalshi.com/Bongino, Kalshi.com/Bongino. You must be 21. The purchaser must be present in the state where the trade is placed. See important disclosures at Kalshi.com. Kalshi is subject to U.S. regulatory oversight by the CFTC. Thank you, Kalshi. Also, folks, we're going to bring back, don't let me leave without our Making America Healthy Again segment. A lot of you really like our health hacks segments. I haven't done one in a little bit. I've got a brief one for you later. I love health hacks. This is my go-to spot for health hacks. Bon Charge. Bon Charge is a holistic wellness brand. They've been with us for a while, dedicated to helping you perform at your best. Through science-backed tools inspired by nature, they combine ancestral principles with modern innovation. The result, smarter solutions to help improve your sleep, your energy, recovery, and overall balance. You've heard me talk about Paula, how she loves the red light face mask, the red light blanket too. Their infrared sauna blanket is another ringer you got to try out. Folks, you know what sauna can do for your health. Just look it up. Bon Charge has a solution. The infrared sauna blanket's a total game changer. It heats up fast. I had one in DC. Takes under a minute to set up and can de-stress you after a long day with just a 30, 40-minute session. You can watch TV, whatever you want to do. You can just relax. It helps elevate your heart rate like a light workout, ignites a deep sweat, which we love, and leaves you feeling calm and recharged. Bon Charge ships worldwide. The product's amazing, offers free shipping, a 12-month warranty, and HSA, FSA eligibility. Go today, pick one up. Try the red light face mask as well. Great for your skin, great for your health. Go to boncharge.com, BONCHARGE, boncharge.com. Use code Bongino, save 15%. It's a great deal. That's boncharge.com. Use code Bongino to save 15%. These statements or products have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Thanks, Bon Charge. And being Paula made an appearance today in the show. We got a picture of her coming up later, and she looks great. That red light face mask, a ringer. Check it out. So, folks, we got to fight on. And I know a lot of you are asking everything going on with the trial and elsewhere and all this other stuff. Like, how is it that these people who live in just this world of lies, just floating in conspiracy theories, you don't understand the difference between facts that are not evidence and facts that are evidence. How does this stuff persist? Folks, the answer is very simple. Throw up the Lindsay tweet. Keep it up while I'm talking here because you can read it in advance. I'll read through a little bit for those listening on audio alone. There are people who've invested so much time in other people, content creators, talking heads, demagogues, whoever it may be, that it is really difficult to pull yourself out because you don't want to admit you got suckered. So James Lindsay says, he's at Conceptual James. It's a long post, and it's up on his feed. He says, put more simply, the prospect of losing all your friends or having to reevaluate who you are is often too hard for people to face. Ain't that the truth? So they simply will not or cannot face the evidence. This is the essential nature of cults, and cults work to generate this circumstance in the people who have fallen into them. Add in moral culpability if your cult is based on, say, hating groups of mostly innocent people, and you have a deep problem on your hands. Thank you, James Lindsay. That is an excellent analysis of what happens with cult-like behavior for people who have engaged with these folks who have lied to them. And it is obvious to any compass true north, person using logic or reason that it's a lie, but they just can't give it up. It's too much for them. Folks, sometimes it just takes a breakthrough of simple common sense. You know, I love our 250th anniversary of this amazing country. I think back to 1776 all the time. Remember Thomas Paine? Common Sense, one of the great works of writing that convinced a lot of the colonists thank you guys, put up the copy of it right there, that convinced some of the colonists that it was time to divorce ourselves from the tyranny of a monarchy. Sometimes breakthroughs like this happen where I hope this show wakes up some people. And I thought of a quote from Common Sense. The cause of America is in great measure the cause of all mankind. The cause of America was truth, liberty, and freedom, inalienable rights granted by God. Those were objective, not subjective truths. We have to keep staying on the right moral arc of history. And I promise, even though there will be a group of people who will never give this up, they'd rather die because their whole world will fall apart when they realize they've been suckered. It's up to us out there, the patriots out there, to do the hard work still. This explains their rage and self-hatred too. If you were on X, you've seen this. Go post about Charlie's trial. Go post anything about it. And watch the rage bots, the self-hatred, the clawing at the faces, the wetting of the diapers, the tearing of the clothes, the beating of the chest. It's not you they're angry at. Yes, I've seen their responses. We get death threats on this stuff all the time, like actual death threats. Folks, they're not angry at you. They're not. They're angry at themselves. They're just taking it out on you. They're just taking it out on you. They're angry at themselves for being suckered. They're not stupid. They know they've been suckered. They just can't give it up because they don't want that moment of reckoning where they have to admit that they partook in just a morally depraved exercise. They can't do it. Here's an incredible articulation of what common sense would look like if the country wasn't run by a lot of idiots and there weren't a lot of demagogues out there. What's this guy's name? Jeremy Bollinger. I saw this on TikTok. It was gone kind of viral on social media. You know, I'm on social media. I like to bring you some really good stuff. This is an amazing articulation of what common sense would look like if we just applied the principles of 1776 against this group of people again there who just are divorced from compass true north and won't accept facts. Check this out.
You can get arrested for hunting and fishing without a license, but you can enter this country and remain in this country illegally. You got a country run by idiots. If you have to get your parents' permission to go on a field trip and get an aspirin at school, but you don't have to get their permission to get an abortion, you got a country run by idiots. If you must show identification to board an airplane and cash a check and check out a library book, but you don't have to show identification to vote in our elections, you got a nation run by a bunch of idiots. If the government wants to prevent and they want to take our guns away and turn around and send F-16 fighter jets to our enemy countries, take our guns away and give ammunition to our enemy countries, you have a country run by idiots. In the nation's largest city, New York City, you can buy 2 16-ounce Cokes, but you can't buy 1 24-ounce Coke because 24 ounces of a sugary Coke will make you fat. But you can buy 2 16 ounces. You got a country and a city run by some idiots. If your government believes the best way to eradicate trillions of dollars in debt is to spend more trillions of dollars in debt, you got a country run by idiots.
If only other preachers could be so bold. Hat tip Jeremy Bollinger. I don't know him at all. It doesn't matter. Folks, today's show is about choosing the right path. And I mean this as candidly and succinctly as possible. Choosing the path of conspiratorial traitor idiocy, traitor to the country, the movement, the traitor to truth, the traitor to morality and ethics, or picking the path, the difficult path of logic, reason, process, and compass true north. It's a choice. It's a fork in the road. We all have to make that choice. Ladies and gentlemen, logic, reason, and process is not the easy path. There's no instant gratification in it. There's none. Zero. There is instant gratification in the path of lies, in the black hole of lies, where you can just put it out there and get instantly gratified by all the wonderful retweets. None of it's based in any evidence-based fact, but people will love you until one day they don't. Because, folks, what we would call truth, what Thomas Paine would call common sense, I promise, with not a plurality, but the overwhelming majority of thinking, hardworking, reasonable Americans, I promise always wins in the end. I swear to you again on my life, Jasmine was sitting in that chair earlier today and lamenting how this same thing, like how all these crazy lunatics have developed a following. I said, this isn't new, Jasmine. You've had demagogues and cult leaders who developed the following throughout human history. And what's always happened in the end? It always collapses outside of a small group of loyalists who go down with the burning house, because eventually most people wake up and realize you said the world was going to end yesterday and it's today. You can't lie to them anymore. Folks, I bring this up because it's not just our fight against the traitors to truth, the traitors to our movement, the traitors to our country, but we have a fight going on that Charlie took on better than anyone against the radical left and socialist ideas. Charlie could have kept it very high level rather than granular. Charlie would engage any argument where he felt there was an infiltration on the inalienable big R God-given rights to assemble, to petition. Charlie take on any and all comers about anything he thought was an infiltration into the zero-sum game of liberty and freedom. He took on these socialists. He took on these fascists, these progressives, these liberals. He took on weak-kneed Republicans who weren't willing to fight. Folks, this is your time now. If there's anything that comes out of this just abominable tragedy of losing Charlie Kirk way too soon, it's that if God fertilized a field of 10,000 more Charlies, then maybe there was some purpose to this that one day you'll understand when you join the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the second creation. Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House when I was a young man. And listen, he has fans and detractors. So do I. We all do. But one thing about Newt Gingrich, I remember with the Contract in America, is he did understand the danger from the progressive left. And he was very good at analyzing what was going on the left. Folks, I'm telling you, we're in a spiritual fight as well as a political one. If you think otherwise, this is probably not the right show for you. I'm not your preacher. I'm a sinner like everyone else, but it's not an accident that I bring up my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's not because I'm some moral compass you should guide your life by. Trust me, I'm not. But I understand we're in a spiritual fight right now, too. Here's Gingrich talking about the Democrat Party being completely hijacked in this spiritual fight. And anyone downplaying this and saying it's going to go away, it reminds me when AOC entered on the scene and everybody told me, just ignore her, she'll go away. I said, no, she won't. I promise you she won't. Socialism requires a constant fight every day. Gingrich understands this. This was a great hit on Hannity's show the other day on Fox, about a minute of this. Check this out.
You're watching the collapse of the oldest political party in the world. Democratic Party goes all the way back to Thomas Jefferson. And what you're seeing right now is that nobody who has common sense has the courage to stand up to people who are objectively crazy. I mean, it's not like they have the wrong ideas or the wrong ideology. They live on a planet that doesn't exist. You start talking about seizing the means of production, which was a great phrase if you're Vladimir Lenin or if you're Mao Zedong. But who in America is going to vote for that? They talk about they want totally open borders. We ran that experiment. It was called the Biden administration. It was totally repudiated. I think you could be drifting towards one of the most decisively defined elections in American history. And we're working on a platform of the American people, issues where you're at 80, 85% support versus people who are crazy. And I think that could be what the core of the campaign is this fall.
You notice what Gingrich said in the beginning? Common sense. There's a reason I put that in there. Folks, common sense, I hate to use cliches, but they serve a purpose at times. Common sense is not as common as people would think. There's someone who just in the chat, I'm not going to say who because I don't want to draw attention to it. But basically brought up a piece of evidence and said, there's no way I'll ever be convinced. I know. I understand that. You just outed yourself. You have no common sense. There is no amount of objective evidence that will convince you from living the life of a moron. I understand that. You saying that is the very marker of an imbecile. You have no common sense. There is nothing that can convince me of this fact being evidence. Yes, you're correct because you're an imbecile. That's you outing yourself. Think about what you just said. Nothing will convince me of the truth. We know. Just call yourself a socialist. No matter how many times we show you the implementation of a socialist ideology in a governing system will kill, starve, torture, murder, and imprison hundreds of millions of people, there is no amount of evidence that will convince you that it's not going to work the next time. That's who you are. Muttley's in the chat. You deserve to be laughed at. You can go back and look at this moron yourself. That's you. You basically just said, I'm an imbecile. Do the Hester Prynne. Put the scarlet eye on my forehead for imbecile. We know there's nothing that can convince you. You're nothing more than a modern day fascist or socialist. Motley's in the chat. You deserve to be mocked because you have no common sense. You just don't. The Democrats are going down. You know what? Guy, I know you love this one, but Justin, cue this one up. This is who you are, that person in the chat. Nothing can convince this idiot. You know the Gays for Gaza video? Cue that one up. I think this is Rebel News. It's Rebel News? Rebel News is interviewing this lady in like the full terror garb, right? And she's talking about how like wonderful it is to be like gay or stuff. And he's like, hey, how many pride parades have you seen in like Gaza? Again, just a question that's fact-based. Have you ever seen one? The answer is no, you have not. There's an answer to that based in fact. But there's no convincing this lady because she's just as dumb as this dipshit in the chat admitting there is no amount of evidence that'll stop me from living in a world of light. None. Because he's basically saying, I'm a moron. We know. Just like Gays for Gaza lady, who no matter what this guy says to her, she's convinced she would live 10 minutes in Gaza. Good luck. Don't do it. I'm trying to help you. Don't get dead. Even you. Check this out.
Do Gazans have solidarity with trans people?
Yeah, usually.
Have you ever seen what they do to trans people in Gaza?
I think that's what the IDF does to trans people.
How many gay pride parades have there been in Gaza?
Well, I mean, how many people have been killed in Gaza? They can't do pride parades at the moment because the whole place is decimated.
Before 2023, how many gay pride parades have there been? How many trans people have lived to tell their story in Gaza before 2023?
We can't say that because the IDF for now 100 years have been completely decimating it. And you can't
100 years. What year did that start?
That started when they started settlement as Israel into Palestine.
So you think the unacceptance of gay and trans people in Gaza is because of the Israelis?
I think it's because of fear, and I think it's because of that. I think
has nothing to do with their radical religion.
I think no.
If you went to Tel Aviv and walk down the main street there as a proud trans person, and you did the same in any Palestinian territory, which one do you think you would survive?
I don't think I'd survive any of them.
Really?
I think Tel Aviv they like to act like they are for queer people. However, if you look at their laws, it's still legal to be gay. It's still legal to be transgender in those countries.
It's illegal in Israel.
It's not allowed in those countries.
In Israel?
Yes, it's not allowed.
I think you need to unwrap that keffiyeh. My brother's gay in Tel Aviv. It is not illegal.
I'm being serious, but they still get persecuted and such.
I would take you to Tel Aviv. You can walk down any street in Tel Aviv and nobody will attack you for whatever you identify as. You do that in Gaza, you do that in the West Bank, they will literally tie a rope around you and drag you behind a motorcycle.
Bullshit. F*** off, mate. F*** off. You're a fucking Zionist.
There it is. Why did we let that play till the end? We were going to cut it off, and I go, no. We got to let this play till the end, because what did I tell you? When you live in a world divorced from Compass True North, Guy's video of the day, also known as Common Sense Compass True North, and you're faced with facts and reality, just like the dipshit in the chat, there's nothing people can say to you to get you to accept that what's real is real. You don't live in the real world. So what do? The only way out of that is rage. Bullshit. F off. Bullshit. F off. That's all she's got. She has no answer to anything. Compass True North, common sense. Folks, we've got to get back to this. Please divorce yourselves and your lives from people feeding you endless dog bowls of Alpo bullshit, right? Remember Alpo to dog food? I promise you'll be a better person for it. We do not need our party to collapse into this deep well of lies like this is Sparta kicking the guy down. We don't need that. A movement built on falsities, lies, and bullshit will inevitably implode on itself like a submersible at, miles deep beneath water that loses pressure. Folks, it's happening now on the left. Don't emulate this strategy. As Newt just told you, that party has been hijacked by crazies who have no compass true north of common sense. You hit them with any fact. What are the wealthiest 1% paying taxes? 0. Actually, it's 38%. Bullshit. F you. Hey, you guys love public schools. You hate school choice. Why is it that 50% of New York City schools, a majority of students can't read or write? Oh, bullshit. I thought you cared about the kids. Bullshit. That's all they have is rage. They look at themselves in the mirror and they know they're idiots and they don't want to accept it. It's really hard to be self-reflective. It's hard, man. Here's CNN, so don't accuse me of any bias. Here's a CNN poll. In case you think like the Democrats are salvageable at this point, we just vote for a few socialists and the rest of the party will be okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the party, there are record numbers of establishment Democrats, who are not the socialists, but are still, not great either. We get the point. Record numbers that are losing. This is not an anomaly. Here's CNN themselves acknowledging this. Check this out.
Prediction markets think it might get even worse.
It could get even worse. In fact, it's likely to get even worse. So if you look at the Kalshi prediction market and the chance that 6 House Democrats go down to defeat, lose their primary in 2026, this number has consistently, over the last week or so, been hovering 80, 90%. And when we talk about history books, the history books, right? If, in fact, 6 House Democrats went down to defeat in 2026, it would be the largest number in a post-redistricting cycle for Democrats. And get this, over 50 years. That's why I got this picture of the Tea Party on your screen right now, because you know what? It's 250, but also it's a new Tea Party for Democrats.
The difference between our Tea Party that engaged in a course correction under our own Republican Party tent was our Tea Party movement, which I ran for office in and was proud to be a part of. Small part, but a part nonetheless. The Tea Party movement was an effort to drag, kicking and screaming, our own party that was broken and off track back to a path of objective common sense and compass true north, constitutional principles that are inalienable. We were getting away from that. Their, air quotes, Tea Party, or what they're calling it, Harry Enten and CNN, their party revolution is a way to divorce their party from any objective truth and give it to people who will impart upon you subjective not truth, subjective falsities. That's the difference. Be proud you were part of the former rather than the latter. Folks, that party's in a world of trouble. And again, if Charlie taught us anything, it's that you have to take the fight to them where they are. College campuses, blue states, blue cities. We don't have a choice. This cancer, this virus festers, it rots like gangrene in an infected piece of muscle tissue. It's not going to go away on its own. It's overwhelmed the immune system at times. You can't let it get to that point. You got to get the medication out early, and the medication is common sense, compass true north, objective truth, big R, God-given rights granted by God. It works every time. Here. In the end, the truth wins out, or we wouldn't be here 250 years later, despite the Civil War, the Revolution, 1812, the hippies, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, internal strife. Jay's Treaty early on. People didn't even think that was a good idea. But we're still here. We're still here. I want to show you what it looks like. Again, when your principles get thrown out the window, you divorce compass true north common sense. You become part of this leftist movement. I want to play the Hat Tip Maze Moore great account on X. This guy, Scott Galloway. The reason I use this guy's clips and have over the last couple of days is if you watch his commentary on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever, his commentary on finance and economics it's very good. You're like, well, how is a guy who's this smart? He's very smart. This guy's not stupid. How does a guy this smart get suckered in to a lack of common sense and what happened to, sadly, a lot of people who were once part of our movement who got suckered into the conspiracy theorist traders? Folks, even smart people can get suckered. Even smart people can get suckered, and it's hard for them to get out. This guy's brilliant. And I want you to listen in this Maze Moore video how he's totally thrown any set of objective compass true north principles out the window when it comes to things like fascism and Nazism, a plague on humankind, an abomination, a stain in our history. Notice first he's talking about Elon Musk. And remember the stupid commentary about Elon was waving and they're like, oh, this guy's a Nazi. It was a Nazi salute. Listen to him on that. That's first. So his principle there is any wave he doesn't like, no matter how ridiculous, he'll conflate with someone being a Nazi. However, on part two, when someone has an actual Nazi tattoo, that's nothing at all. It should be ignored. That says to you, there's no compass true north. The magnet's broken. There's no principle here at all other than power. And that's dangerous. That's what the founders and Thomas Paine were trying to get away from, not embrace. Check this out.
Elon Musk, in my view, purposely gave Nazi salutes. And I'm trying to wrap my head around what are the objectives there? Is it just to show a certain level of macho and thumbing your finger in the face of convention? Is it an attempt to rally a group of people around a fascist ideology? We're going to talk about fucking tattoos and sexting. I'm a Jew. I don't love a Totenkopf tattoo. If he gets drunk one night and gets a stupid fucking tattoo, he gets a hall pass.
He sure does. From you, not from us. And don't give me the both sides bullshit. You can shove that right up your... Did you miss what happened during this primary season? Where patriotic, right side of the moral arc of history, compass true north, common sense, Republicans, conservatives, fought sweat equity, poured their sweat and blood at great expense to themselves to clear the debris and infection that was trying to get into our movement. Did you miss all that? Not only did we not embrace it, did you miss this show? And by the way, this show is just a small portion of it. A significant one, but not compared to, there were tons of people doing this at great expense to themselves to save our movement from this crazy. And what did you assholes do? You embraced it. This guy with the Nazi tattoo won a primary in your party, not ours. There's no both sides, bro. Stick to the finance videos. You're a lunatic. And just be honest, your only principle's power. Elon's a Nazi for waving to people, but the Nazi tattoo guy's not a Nazi with the Nazi tattoo. Maybe if he waved, they would have condemned him. Right, guys? Maybe if he would have, but if he just would have waved, maybe then he would have condemned them. Principles, right? Principles, my ass. Folks, you want to turn into this? Do you know this guy, Hassan, what's his last name? Piker? Again, total chump, coward. Another one of these fake tough guys. I hate these guys. I remember in the early days of the JIT schools, and everybody come in, and there was all these bets. It doesn't work. We'd get bouncers and stuff that would come in, and you know, in Matt Serra's place, and they would sick like a blue belt on these guys. And you'd see these guys like crying as they got tapped out. I get tired. I'm an old guy. I'm 51. I'm broken. I've said that 1,000 times, not new. It's just, I get so sick of these, you know, wealthy, rich, total life loser, pampered zeros like this idiot, Hassan Piker, pretending like he's some rebel without, just go donate the money from your show if you believe in socialism. This guy's going to find himself, I don't have any inside information. I want to be clear on this, but this guy's going to find himself enmeshed in a significant lawsuit. If you see what he did yesterday about Pete Hegseth, who's a patriot and a great friend and a good man, has been a great leader at the Department of War. Did you hear this? If this doesn't result in a lawsuit, I got to tell you, I will be astonished. This is some of the most disgusting stuff you're ever going to hear in your life from a commentary guy who's got a big following. He's taken a huge risk on this. Check this out.
One of their rapist hosts is now the fucking Secretary of War. Pete Hegseth also has a Nazi tattoo on his motherfucking chest. A Nazi tattoo that actually got dinged by the National Guard, which stopped him from participating at the inauguration as security detail. Something he wrote about in a motherfucking book. And he was such a prolific rapist that his own mother sent him an email begging him to stop raping. That guy, with a drinking problem also, is now the Secretary of War. That guy used to be a host on this network for years. And they're over here talking about, wow, I can't believe it. The Democrats did this.
All right, folks, any lawyers in the chat? I am not a lawyer. Any lawyers in the chat, chime in. If you're a public figure, okay, there's a different standard for legal defamation, okay? It kind of sucks. I'm not sure there should be a different standard, but there is. If you're just, and to correct me in the chat, by the way, if I'm wrong. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so, you know, the whole joke about being a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. However, there are different standards for public figures. All you have to basically do is prove there was a defamatory lie if you're just a regular kind of citizen without a huge public footprint. If you are a public figure, you have to prove actual malice. Actual malice. You just called a guy falsely. You just defamed him. You called him a rapist, a patriot, a public servant. You just called him multiple times. Holy Moses, I hope this guy's got a checkbook ready to go. If he does not issue a full-throated, unconditional apology, I wouldn't be shocked at all if this guy's writing a $5 million check. That one's going to sting. And this just goes to show how stupid he is. Again, this is what it looks like. Remember what I told you. When you have no logic or reason, you have no common sense, no compass true north, and you're forced to look in the mirror like Hassan, whatever his name is, has to do every day and realize you're a moron, a dipshit, and a phony. When you have to do that every day, the only off-ramp is this self-hatred rage that you have to redirect because you're not comfortable with the guy in the mirror. So what does he do? He starts raging out against Pete at his own expense. There's almost no way he gets away with this. Brother, get that checkbook out, man. That is some of the most insane commentary I've ever heard from a moron, but a moron who should have had some producer in his ear going, dude, we're all going to lose our jobs over this one. What a dipshit. Folks, we got Captain Riz coming up next. Who's Captain Riz? Chat. Who's Captain Riz? And we've got a new member of the Riz Brigade. We've got the lieutenant, the Riz Lieutenant. Who's the Riz Lieutenant? We're going to nominate someone next for the Riz Lieutenant. We're going to nominate him and select him and confirm at the same time. I want to show you a two-piece video. It's a Friday. And I've got some really cool pictures. I told you today's show is going to be a little personal. I got a couple cool pictures coming up. Something happened about this place in America, and the Europeans were loving it. And I want to show you something. Again, it's a little personal. If you don't like personal stuff, it's okay. I don't mind. I get it. Folks, we wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by our framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on the principle of sound and stable money. It's important. A principle later embodied by the gold standard. What's the foundation of your savings? Is it gold or something that can be shaken, disrupted, or devalued? I'm a big believer in gold. I bought gold many times from Birch Gold Group, BIRCH. They're the company I buy from. They've been helping Americans solidify their savings with gold for the past 15 years. They'll help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn how gold fits in your portfolio by texting my name, Dan, D-A-N, to the number 989898. You'll receive a free, no-obligation info kit with an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. I use them. Text my name, Dan, to the number 989898. Text Dan to 989898. Message and data rates may apply. Thanks, Birch Gold. You know, sometimes people ask me, I get this once in a while in the chat. They say, why do you spell out your name, Dan? It's obviously D-A-N. I'm going to tell you why. Because I've written, 6 or 7 books. I don't even know. Someone tell me. And I do a lot of book signings. So when I go out there and meet people, they'll be like, yeah, can you sign it to Dan? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then they'll give it back to me like, it's Dan with 2 N's. And you're like, what? You should have told me that. That's why I do it. Don't laugh. I'm telling you, it happens all the time. They're like, my name is Kate. Kate. And no, with a C. I'm like, you got to tell me that. Even the most basic names, when you've done a book signing over and over and like 500 people show up or 1,000 for each one, you wind up signing 10, 20,000 books. The easiest name, Sam, it's S-A-A-M-M-E-M-M-E-L. And you're like, that's Samil. No, it happens all the time. That's why I do it. Because I got asked that one time in the chat. Why do you spell your... That's why. Now you know. I told you today's show would be a little bit personal. If you come to a book signing, we get some big crowds. Folks, Captain Riz is back. We've been talking about why Donald Trump, yesterday and today, we've been discussing why I believe. It's my opinion. You don't have to share it. It's okay. You're allowed your own opinion. It is a republic, thankfully, if we can keep it. I think the best warrior against socialism is a guy who speaks in the terminology of common sense. Folks, we've tried white papers against communism. Can we just be honest? It's not working. Please read de Tocqueville, Montesquieu, Locke, Soule, Friedman, Schumpeter, William F. Buckley. Read it. It's all worth your time. It's genius. It's an intellectual debate against communism. The hard reality, folks, is the world is snapshots and sound bites. Sometimes we need a guy who's like, well, communism just sucks. He's the guy. This is the guy for the time right now in the TikTok generation to fight against communism. We need Captain Riz. And President Trump is Captain Riz. You got to watch yesterday's show. You'll get the inside joke. But check out this clip. Here he is. This guy understands the threat and speaks in common sense terms needed right now. Check this out.
There's not much seizing in the firing because we've
Well, you should ask that of the Iranians. Don't ask me. We didn't fire. They fired on us. My point is, if you fire at a U.S. Navy ship, what are we supposed to do? Say, oh, there's a ceasefire. We're not going to shoot down your drone. That's a stupid question. That's a stupid position to take. Of course we fired back at them. They were shooting at us. That's what I would expect to do. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at. And we're not a stupid country.
All right, I don't know how they missed that because I clearly said it was Trump, but now you know who Lieutenant Riz is. Lieutenant Riz, because they played the clips backwards, don't ask me how. Lieutenant Riz is Rubio. Why would we shoot at them? Because they shot at us, you dumb shits. Compass true north. Someone shoots at me. What's your... Well, I want to protect myself and shoot back. Lieutenant Riz, now they burned the is Marco Rubio. Folks, if this guy doesn't run for president at some point in the future, it is going to be one of the greatest lost opportunities for a chief executive. Who did that? We're going to be taking advantage of the wall behind this. We don't need Dan Bongino show up there all the time. You're watching the Dan Bongino show. You know we're here. Check out the back. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify or listening on YouTube, you want to watch, tune into the end at 11:01 and 40-something seconds. There is Lieutenant Riz, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Now, Justin was sleeping in there. Captain Riz, here is President Trump. You guys are lucky it's Friday. I'm in a good mood today. You are. Captain Riz, President Trump, the warrior we need for common sense against the depravities and atrocities of socialism. Check this out.
Communists that are running, and they don't want God. They don't want successful things to happen for our country. They don't want to have a successful country.
No one explains it better than him. Folks, we don't need, I love them. Again, I love them. I'm not knocking intellectuals. I'm not. I'm just telling you, we don't need another white paper on communism. We don't. They've been written. We've got think tanks that have been doing it for years. It hasn't made much of a dent. Sometimes you just need Captain Riz behind us. I love that thing we played yesterday. Trump be like, yeah, I'd be the greatest communist in the world. Everything's free housing, like Oprah. You get a car. And you're like, well, who's paying for that? Oh, we are. How? They're stealing your money to give it back to you. Well, what are they doing with it when they steal? Well, they take a cut and enrich themselves first. Well, that doesn't sound like a deal because it's not. Folks, even the Europeans are waking up to the opportunity costs of socialism and big government welfare states. There's an opportunity cost to this. Do you know what an opportunity cost is? I don't want to make this. I just told you about white papers. However, if you don't understand economics, they teach you this day one. An opportunity cost is the cost of a foregone opportunity. There's financial costs and opportunity costs. Think of them as spreadsheet costs and opportunity costs. Paula is a great web developer. I use this example all the time. She could make $500 an hour doing websites back in the day. She was great at it. If Paula decides to go and cut grass for $10 an hour, great, good for you. All work is noble. But Paula's not making $10 an hour. Yes, she is. They're paying her to cut the grass. She's losing close to $490 an hour by not doing what she could do. It's the cost of a foregone opportunity. Europeans in the United States for the World Cup are now waking up to what decades of lost opportunities, if they would have been in the United States and the beauty of it would look like if they were just here with our better freedom and liberty constructs and our system of government. Not perfect, but better than theirs. You ever been to Yellowstone? Folks in the chat, who's been to Yellowstone? I'm not here to give you bucket list items. Everybody likes their own thing. I'm just telling you on this one, please give me a dispensation from, just like mentioning I need it here. You need to go to Yellowstone. If you haven't seen it, Grand Tetons in Yellowstone, you are missing one of God's greatest gifts. It is magical. Yes, in the chat. Awesome. Hell yeah, I've been. Sorry, there was a funny one in there. Everyone in the chat knows it. Flags in the chat. Yellowstone is amazing. I want you to watch this. This is a European in the country for the World Cup. He's in Yellowstone. He can't even believe it's real. I'm going to show you a picture I took. It's real, of me and Paul in Yellowstone that I swear to you looks fake. I promise you on my life, it's real. I'm going to show you how majestic this is because there's actual painting of this. Watch this guy first. Check this out.
America isn't real. This isn't a real place. I have not just witnessed what I have witnessed today. It has been the craziest, most beautiful drive of my whole entire life. This has been insane. America, you are ridiculous.
What's happened to the back of his hair?
The bare necessities. The bare necessities. Does anyone know the rest of the words? I don't. I still can't believe what we witnessed today. A grizzly bear, a coyote, bison, chipmunks, elks, deer. Is it normal to get that lucky in Yellowstone National Park? Let me know. What other states have that much variety of wildlife? Get in the comments and let me know.
That was who? James Atcan Fitness. James, welcome to America, brother. Welcome with open arms, man. Welcome to America. By the way, it is a little bit difficult to see. How did you get captain and lieutenant in the same shot? You guys are really busy back there. It is, if you do go to Yellowstone, it is 100% a bucket list item. I just want to warn you, it is not easy to see a bear in Yellowstone. For those who've been there, there are people who take 2-3 day tours and never see a bear. The reason I bring it up is I went to Yellowstone. I loved it. We had this guide. She was great. She was wonderful. But all she would talk about is the bear spray. She'd be like, listen, man, bears are dangerous. If we see a bear, I've got the spray. Get back in the car right away. We go for this 2-day Yellowstone tour. So it's an 8-hour day each day. So obviously we're at the 16th hour. Everybody's asleep in the van. It's early evening. We're leaving Yellowstone. Everyone's tired. We have not seen a bear. And over 2 days, my daughters and my neighbor's kids, we were all in a van together. They'd be like, bear! And it was a raccoon. They'd be like, bear! And it was a fox. But so we were a little disappointed, even though the park was majestic, that we hadn't seen a bear. Put up my bear picture. So what happens? We're driving out of the park with our friends, the Vacanis, who we love, who I mentioned, the orthodontist. And this is a picture from my phone. So Arvin, my buddy, everyone's sleeping but me and him. And I'm actually dozing off. He's like, tells the tour lady, hey, pull over on the side of the road. There's a bunch of cars there. The lady's like, there's no bear there. And he's like, no, this is our last shot. We are just about to leave the park. I swear to you, this is true. That's some bullshit podcast story. We pull over the side of the road. There's like a little ridge line. That bear was like 30 feet away. The reason I tell you about the tour guide is she rushes out of the car and she doesn't have the bear spray. All she'd been talking about was the bear spray. And she's like, we got to get away from this bear. It's got the cub next to it. And me, I'm just so, I'm groggy. I probably shouldn't have taken the picture. I probably should have got back in the car, but I had to take the picture. That was the bear in Yellowstone. That is a freaking true story. And we still to this day, if we're sitting there and we're hanging out with them, we still to this day, remember the bear in Yellowstone? They're hard to see. I'm just preparing you. They don't just hang out you'll see bison everywhere. You'll see all kinds of animals out there. But bears, they're not that easy to see. They don't just sit there and wave. And by the way, if you see them, be careful. This picture, however, is me and Paula. And that, I know it looks fake. That picture is real. I promise you, that's not a painting. That's not AI. It is in no way enhanced. That's Yellowstone, me and Paula. I show you this picture because it looks fake. It looks so fake when you see it because it's so perfect. It doesn't look real. Thomas Moran actually painted this scene. It's a very famous painting. You might just want to throw it up. It looks exactly like this, but there it is from a wide shot. The painting looks exactly like the picture. Flip back and forth. It's just a wider shot. You have to see Yellowstone. You ever want to God gave us this place, okay? I believe that. You don't have to believe that. Now they're putting a freaking bear in the thing in the back. Yeah, there's a bear. There's a bear in the studio, folks. And maybe it's on the brick wall, but it's there. God gave us this place. You don't have to believe it. It's okay. I believe it. God gave us this place, okay? If you want to see the tip of the spear of the gift he gave us, you need to go to Yellowstone. Folks, I love this place too because something happened to me recently. I don't want to get into details because I don't want to bore you to death, but it's important. See, everybody in the chat knows too, those of you who've been there. I was on a trip not that long ago in a foreign country, and I haven't been out of the country in a little bit, and I've forgotten what it's like to be a first responder, police officer, federal agent, fireman, EMT, paramedic in the United States where, yeah, there's corruption, obviously. I mean, that's what we went there to go fix, however. But, you know, we try to get it right in the end, and corruption is frowned upon in the United States. Like if you were to go into, say, I don't know, a passport office and even try to leave like a cash tip to the guy, they'll like jump back in horror. Like they won't even take that in the United States, which is because there's rules about that, understandably so. But I was in this foreign country and it's just like assumed you're going to like, I saw this guy, it wasn't us, it was someone else, but I saw the whole thing and I was like, it reminded me like how incredible this place is. And how in the richest country in the world, we frown on this stuff. Like the public doesn't like it because we are logical, reasonable, compass true north people. And you know, I said to the guys, we don't celebrate our first responders enough. We don't, and I'm sorry about that. I talk about our truckers, our carpenters, our electricians, all the, you know, folks busting their asses, or, you know, we talk about the steam fitters, the tin knockers up in New York, our rail workers, our grave diggers, mention truckers all the time. Sometimes I think because of my career in law enforcement, we don't mention our first responders enough. What makes this country great? People willing to serve, and they're not there to get rich. I saw these two cool videos on X yesterday, went a little bit viral. You know what ESU is? ESU is the New York City SWAT team. It's Emergency Services Unit. They don't call themselves SWAT, they call themselves ESU. There was this person who was going to kill themselves by jumping off a bridge. Jumping off a bridge. Imagine walking up a bridge with just this little cable to rescue someone who wants to kill themselves, knowing they could potentially take you with them. And I want you to listen to this ESU officer's plea and how heartfelt it is. Please, please don't do this. Please don't do this. And I want to say to our first responders out there, this show, me, I, and the rest of my team, and my wife, and Jasmine, and Justin, and Guy, and Andy, and Josh, everyone here, we love you guys and ladies out there who serve. We love you. Check this out.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, please. 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 I got you. I got you. You're okay. You're okay. I promise. Yeah, let's go. I got you. I promise. Everything's gonna be okay. You're not in trouble.
I've seen that 3 times, and I don't know why that just got to me like that too. Please, please don't do this. You're going to be okay. I promise. You're not in trouble. To the cops out there, you know, some people don't like that term. I don't mind. I was a cop. To the cops, to our corrections officers out there, want to leave you guys out. To the agents out there doing their job, who made and swore an oath to the Constitution they stuck by, thank you. You will always have a home on this show. We love you guys. This one's a little bit more lighthearted, but I don't want to leave our firemen out either. Reason I bring that up, you know, let's go in reverse a little bit. Put up Amelia. Here's my daughter, who was a fireman when she was, I think, 4 in this picture or so. I don't remember the date specifically, but she was an early fireman. Amelia, There's Amelia with me in a fire truck. I think this was in Maryland years ago with her hat. Amelia take a picture anywhere with her Crocs on there. But the reason firemen, too, have a special place in my heart is, folks, if you ever been, I hope you haven't, but have you ever been in a real fire? So when I went through Secret Service training early on, they did, what is it called, incipient fire training. And basically they would put a smoke machine up. And it's the most dangerous, the training was terrible because it's dangerous. What's dangerous? What's dangerous is it made you believe with the smoke machine that's what a fire looked like. And you had this false sense of confidence. So there's a picture of me. I don't know how old I was, 25, 26. I'm on the job with the Secret Service, maybe a year or two. I have no idea. And someone had decided in the New York office that we need real fire training. So we went to the Nassau County Fire Academy in New York. That's what this is in the background. So there's a picture of me smiling with like the Scott pack on and a vest. I wasn't smiling much when we got inside. That house behind you, they burn number 2 fuel oil in there. That's jet black. You firemen out there know what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden, you realize what a fire looks like. Folks, you can't see your hand in front of your face. And I was the only one with a Scott pack because they wanted me to be one of the safety guys. There were people like freaking out. And the door was right there. We had to like cancel the exercise for a minute and then do it over again now that everybody understood what they were getting into. So to you firemen who run into actual burning buildings where the floor could give out, you could fall 10 stories, you could fall on a stake, a spike, a piece of rebar, who can't see anything in front of their faces, where it's hundreds and hundreds of degrees and your equipment could melt to your face. We love you too. Here's a particularly cool fireman. I saw this video. He hates it because it's shaky. I love it. I like it because it's shaky. It's clearly taken with someone who's excited cell phone. So this fireman shows up to this football practice, right? A fire alarm goes off. I guess they turn off the fire alarm. And the fireman's like, hey, you guys are lifting? I'm going to go out and I'm going to rep out on the 225. Like it's the freaking NFL combine. You think he does 1 or 2 reps? Nah. This guy reps out. This guy could be a linebacker in the NFL. We love you, firemen. Check this out. This is a little shaky, but this guy's really excited. 1, 2, 6, 7. Bro! Look at they're going nuts. This guy's in full turnout gear. By the way, was that St. Johns County? He doesn't even warm up. He's in full turnout gear. Full turnout gear. He doesn't warm up at all, and he does effectively like 11 3/4 reps with 225. Brother, I don't know your name, but job well done. My decaying old 51-year-old carcass, I can't do that no more. I usually turn the page when there's a video playing, but I forgot because I was so excited about that video. I'm not even sure I could do 225 once anymore. And I'm 200 pounds. My decaying carcass. I'm like the reverse tough guy. No, I don't. I promise. I don't think I'm tough at all. I'm telling you the opposite. This carcass is decaying. Good for you, Mr. St. Johns County fireman guy. Okay, I haven't done a Maha moment in a while, and it's perfectly fitting for this segment because we just watched the fireman not warm up, rep out 11 and a half times or 3/4 times with 225 in full turnout gear. And you're probably thinking, like, if this fireman could do that while responding to a fire alarm, then why aren't I working out too? And I say to you, yes, why aren't you? This is the No Excuses show. No excuses show. I'm sorry. I don't accept excuses. I got a job. All of us do. I got like 10 jobs. I promise you. We got a lot of jobs. I get up 5:50 every day. Well, I take that back. I got up at 6 today. 10 minutes later. Today I was a little tired. Honesty matters. I get up 5:50 every day. Jump my ass in that cold plunge. 47 degrees. I'm like, it sucks. Major. It's horrible. Then I do the little like vibration board thing you sit on. It like shakes you. And then I go on the elliptical and then I work out. It sucks. You can make it happen. You got to find the time because if you don't, you'll be like a rotting carcass even worse. Your body rots. It goes away over time if you don't make it unrot. And the only way to make it unrot is to lift weights like St. Johns County fireman guy because then this will happen. This is your Make America Healthy Again moment. Coach Dan Go on X. This is a picture. This is your muscle at 25 versus 55. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. If you're not lifting heavy and you're carrying extra fat, it's already happening to you. Look at this picture. You don't want your muscles to look like the one on the other side. Look at that. It looks like a steak with too much marbling. The bone's not as dense. On the left, dense, healthy tissue. On the right, muscle marbled with fat like a ribeye steak. You don't want that. You got to lift. I don't want to lift. Check with your doctor. I got to give all the standard disclaimers because it's where you may have some heart problem you don't know about. You don't want to have a heart attack. If you're healthy enough to do it, folks, you got to lift the steel. The steel is the most honest thing in your life. You want to talk about compass true north and common sense? The steel never lies to you. It is the most objective amount of truth you ever get in your life. You put work into the steel. Imagine this is a barbell. You lift it. You do a dumbbell in this case. You do a dumbbell curl, you do a press, a military press, a bent over row, whatever you do with that dumbbell, the steel will never lie to you. Whatever amount of work you put into the steel will give back to you. It's the most honest thing in your life. We have our Democrat Zen moment, but I wanted to thank you guys too. We thank the firemen. We thank police officers. We thank the patriots out there. We opened up thanking Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. But I wanted to also thank you guys in the audience. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. This article came out yesterday. Ben Shapiro, Dan Bongino remain top 15 in podcast rankings, June PodTrack podcast rankings. I want to thank you for this because I'm going to tell you something a lot of hosts and people in this space won't acknowledge. I hope, by the way, a lot of this is making sense now. It will. It will. Why people engaged in this black hole of lies to try and make all this go away. I hope it's making sense. But I want to say to you, and again, a lot of hosts won't acknowledge this because, you know, it's bad for business sometimes to say like business is bad. But the podcast business right now for politics, I'm just telling you straight, is not great. It's not in a presidential election year. What happens, I've been in this game a long time, since 2015. And if you get it, you put like a Coors Light in any podcast host on the conservative side, they'll tell you the exact thing. They may not say it publicly, but I don't care. The truth matters. The fact that this show, despite leaving for a year, being off the air, like the channel just was lying fallow. I mean, we had nothing, we had Vince, thankfully, but you know, my show was gone. People unsubscribe. You're not there. They don't want to get notifications about a show that's not there. The fact that we've been gone, we've been through multiple presidential elections, we've been through all this, and you guys and ladies still continue to show up in just massive numbers. I can't thank you enough, given the gravity of how the political podcast space on the conservative side is not great. It's not great. Go look at view counts for a bunch of different shows. You'll see they're down. Sometimes, this is what I was going to say. I'm sorry, I interrupted myself. Sometimes for the business, not for the country, but for the business of podcasting in the conservative side, you're better off when we lose because there's a unified voice against, say, Obama or Biden. What happens when we win, our party, maybe not our candidate. I mean, George W. wasn't a huge supporter, but he was a Republican. That's at least our party. When they win, people feel like it's like watching a sports show a week after your team won the Super Bowl. Like, it's over. It's not much to talk that we won. Right? So the fact that we continue to plug away and remain on a number of different charts, top 50, top 20, top 10, top 15, depends on how they measure. I just want to let you know I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. Should we do comment of the day before Democrat Zen? Let's do comment of the day. You guys pick one. Who is the comment of the day? You know about our contest, right? We're just giving away money, $1,776. Every week we're giving it away to someone watching this show. You got to be in the live chat. Join us every day at 10 a.m. It's free. Win the comment of the day. You're in the weekly drawing. One of you will win a cash prize every week. See official rules at Bongino.com/1776. The comment of the day, fellas, is God never leaves us alone in time of need. There are special people out there. You may not realize it, but you are also one. Wow, thanks, guys. They picked that, not me. It's very nice. Whoever said that, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I don't feel special, and I promise, don't think of me as special. I'm just a sinner like everyone else. I'm just really passionate about this stuff. That's it. I just got a microphone. There's no difference between you and me, but thank you. That means a lot. Now, because it's Friday, we like to leave you on the weekend with a calming, meditative, what's that thing called? Like those videos with the sounds, the ASMR stuff? Is that what that's called? You know that ASMR, so people like listen to these sounds, like scratchy sound. I don't know what it makes them calm down or something. This is your Democrat ASMR, your Zen moment, because they're always so peaceful, calm people, and they never rage out. It's like we talked about that earlier in the show. Hat tip producer Jim, here's your Democrat Zen moment of the week.
Your Democrat Zen moment of the day. A peaceful moment to center your mind.
Ready, set, go.
Nice.
That's okay.
This has been Democrat Zen.
What the chuck was that? I see what you did there. We got Bruce Lee over here with the nunchucks. Remember the nunchucks? Remember growing up in the 80s and 90s? Everybody's probably, did any of you out there have the nunchucks? Mudley's in the chat. I had the nunchucks. I probably split my face open 4 or 5 times messing with the nunchucks. Then you had to get the padded ones because I'm telling you, if you didn't know what to do with the nunchucks, finally I learned how to use them. Not very good, by the way. I couldn't even do it because you got to like catch them behind your back. There were the libs with the nunchucks. What the chuck was that? What the chuck? There was the libs raging out. That's why, by the way, the libs, believe me when I tell you, man, this socialist fight, like you're not ready. Just let it go. Like Adina Menzel says in front, just let it go. Just let it go. All right, folks, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Don't miss Haley at noon, rumble.com/Haley, and the king of morning podcasting, Vince Colonnese, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Every single day. He's at rumble.com/Vince. We really appreciate you checking out some of our Bongino Report hosts. Download the Rumble app. We got a question in the chat. This morning, someone asked, how do I watch the show live? It's very simple. You can watch online. Just go to rumble.com/Bongino. It's free. You don't have to do anything. Just put that address in your browser. Or you can go to the App Store, download the free Rumble app. Just search my name, Dan Bongino Show. You can follow. You can not follow. It's up to you. But you watch every day. Make a comment, enter yourself into the comment of the day. Or also you can check us out on your smart TV too. There's a Rumble app on your smart TV. Just search Rumble, click download, add it to your home screen. You're good to go. Watch the show every day. I'll see you back here on Monday. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey there, I'm Vince.
I'm Haley Caradia,
Host of Vince.
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report.
live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
Right here
and
and
anywhere
anywhere
you
you find
find
a podcast.
podcasts. Thanks for watching.